Hello, today we're going to talk about sequences and series. Sequences. First, let us determine the definition of sequence or sequences. A sequence is a chain of number or list of numbers that usually follow a particular pattern. So, ang sinasabi lang is, ang sequence is pagkakaayos ng mga numbers na merong pattern in between or a pattern to generate the whole sequence. Next, the individual elements in a sequence are called terms or elements. Each element is separated by a comma and enclosed between two braces. Here, as shown, the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are separated by a comma and enclosed between two braces. When the sequence goes forever or doesn't end, it is called an infinite sequence. Otherwise, it is a finite sequence. A finite sequence means that you can count the total number of elements in a given sequence. An infinite sequence is terminated by three periods or also known as ellipses. Basically, an infinite sequence is terminated or yung sa dulo niya is meron kang makitang ellipses. I have an example for that. Here, as you look at the picture, we are given a series of 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. Now, 3 is the first term, 5 is the second term, and so on. Now, this sequence is a infinite sequence. Why? The sequence ended with a ellipsis or a three dots, and the ellipsis indicates an infinite number of elements or terms. Examples. A set of number sequence is given below. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. Of course, the first element is 3. The last element is 24, or the 8th element is 24. Now, what is the pattern for this? Now, to get the pattern in a sequence, you should observe the elements. Simply take the difference or divide the next number to the previous number. As you can see here, kung maobserbahan mo, makikita mo is yung pattern, makikita mo yung sequence ay from 3 naging 6 and 6 naging 9. Ano yung difference between 3 and 6 and 6 and 9? Same lang, 'di ba? Which is 3. So, the pattern is each element are increased by 3 or nag-add ka ng 3 kada generate mo ng bagong term or element. So, 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12, and so on. As you can see here in the picture, it shows that the pattern is plus 3. Now, next we are given this particular example of sequence. Now, I created this sequence is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 28. What is the first element of the sequence? 1. And the last element or the 8th element is 128. Now, as you can observe from this example, the pattern is somewhat hard to determine because what is the difference between 1 and 2, 4 and 2, and 8 and 4? From 1 and 2, the difference is 1, and 4 and 2, the difference is 2 and 8 and 4 is 4. Now it is not consistent. There are, as what I said before, there are other ways to determine the pattern, which is dividing the present number to the previous number, which is 2 divided by 1 is 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 8 divided by 2 is 2, and so on. So from that, we can determine that the pattern of the elements are multiplied by 2, as shown here in the figure. Now, as an exercise, kindly continue the given illustration before. Find the two missing elements from the example. Now, let's move on to series. What is a series? A series in math is simply the sum of the various numbers or the elements of a sequence. In short, parang pinag-add mo lang lahat ng elements na sa loob ng isang sequence. So, taking the sum of all the elements in a sequence. As mentioned before, a finite sequence contains a finite number of terms, or finite number of terms are also known, or sa pagkakaalam natin is nabibilang nga yung terms and hindi siya terminated by an ellipsis. Meron siyang specific number of terms. So, kung meron kang finite number of terms and meron kang finite sequence, it results to a finite series. Finite series ang tawag sa nakikreate na series from a finite sequence. As an example, given a numerical sequence of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Now, to obtain the series, just take the sum of each element from the given sequence, or pag-add mo lang each element. So here, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is equals to 15. Now, this 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equals to 15 is an illustration of a series, or it shows a series. Now, from the table I have shown here, it shows the difference between a sequence and a series. As mentioned below, a sequence is a set of elements that follow a pattern. So, may pattern lahat ng sequence. A series naman is a sum of the elements of the sequence. As yun nga, pagkakasabi ko, titake mo lang yung sum ng mga terms or elements sa loob ng isang sequence. Sa sequence, order of the element is important. Siyempre, importante ang pagkakasunod-sunod kasi doon mo makikita yung pattern or yung rule na tinatawag sa isang sequence. While, on the other hand, in a series, order of the element is not so important. Why? Since you add each element of a sequence, we follow the rule of commutative, or the property of commutative property, in which in addition or multiplication, the position of the addends or the factors doesn't affect the result. Now, in a finite and infinite sequence, same illustration is shown when a finite sequence shows a specific number of elements, and a finite series shows a specific number of addends, while both infinite sequence and infinite series are terminated with ellipses. Now, as an exercise, kindly answer this to practice your skills in determining the sequences and creating a sequence. I hope you learned a lot, and thank you.